Thank you again for allowing me to speak. I think I'm going to be shorter than my 5+ minutes. But I think that everyone's received a letter from the Institute of Justice. I know the Chuck did. I'm assuming that everyone has
I
read
sent my response to everyone else.
We partnered together to see if we could fight the battle here. They've been supportive up to this point, sometimes even beyond. I mean, that's our intent. You're well aware of what they've done in the past and what they're.
Is that odd? It's hard to, I don't know if he's getting it.
That one's funky.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, better yet.
But I'm sure you're well aware. I mean, if you go to their website, you'll find out exactly what they're for. I mean, eminent domain is one of the issues that they usually take to the table. They've done it on a couple of occasions here in New Jersey. But I just wanted to clarify a couple of
Johnny,
things.
you are going to have to move to the side of the camera. We got technology here. Sorry.
Okay. I just want to clarify an issue. The last time I was here, it was Councilman
Giraldi.
Giraldi, I'm sorry. I made a statement about whether or not I lived there.
No, I asked the question. I didn't make a
You asked the
statement.
question, and I said that not something that should be even entertained at this point, because why would that make any difference? If it's a single-family home,
Point of interest.
or if it's a multi-family home, whether I live there or not, Mr. Somerset Spring doesn't live there either, but it's a business for him. So when did the laws change that would make the property rights for a single?
John, he didn't assert the law.
I didn't
He asked
assert
the
that,
question.
sir.
I'm sorry?
I didn't assert any of that.
He asked the
I'm
question.
I just
saying-
asked if you lived there or not.
I'm clarifying the fact that there shouldn't be a distinction between the property rights of a single-family home or somebody that's multiple. At least I don't know these laws that exist in the state of New Jersey, am I correct? Correct. Okay. So that shouldn't be an issue at all. The other statement that was made as to whether or not I lived in the house, and I've told you many times that I do not live there. I live at 34 Bones Lane.
Right.
The property is owned by me. I never lived there. My son did live there for a couple of years. The other issue that I want to bring up too also is the fact that it was always a multi-family home. We never went to the planning board, we never went to the any body in Raritan to make a change back to a multi-family home.
Why
It
made
was
you make a
always,
mistake?
it was always a two-family home.
Because I wrote to.
No, it wasn't. It was a single
We're not
family
asking
home.
you, sir.
Oh.
It's
a single-family home
not
for
asking.
residents.
All right, please. The facts are the facts, and they're not going to be decided here because we don't have the records. I was of the opinion, and maybe you're responding to a comment that I wrote to a gentleman in Minnesota, but I was responding that Monica, no, I'm sorry, I forget who lived there now, but whoever lived there, to my recollection, when the kids grew up with that
It
person,
was a single-family home.
It was a single
It
family.
was always taxed as a multi-family home. And you can check the records.
it is what it is,
When
John.
we went-
John, I'm not disputing the fact, if that's what
I'm
you said.
clarifying that.
Okay.
You could go and take a look at the records, you'll find that every permit that was pulled was for two-family. So we can leave that aside.
I was just
It's not
responding
anything-
to a question in the use when was
I understand,
purchased.
Chuck.
Okay.
I understand. I just want to bring it to.
No, we can both
people that
clarify,
are-
that's fine, okay.
Um,
Very fine.
To go one step further, what makes me any different than the developer? I mean, I have 2 units that are maybe 900 square feet each. I live in the town, my son lives in the town, we own the property, it's been upkept, there's no reason why we should abandon it. But yet here you have the developer who's gonna buy the property and put up 300 units, and he's not gonna live there.
John, that's what he's proposing.
Let's say, Chuck, let's make it 150.
And you're asserting that we're treating him differently than you. At the end of the day, and I tried not to interrupt you previously, but at the end of the day, this is a process. The process was started by a gentleman coming in and asking us to consider redevelopment of that property. The council made a decision to consider redevelopment of that property. We followed the statute. The statute said, hey, give it to the planning board. The planning board is going to hire a redevelopment expert, which they did. That person goes out and determines whether or not that property qualifies for redevelopment, all right? And you are correct. We have the right of, we included the right of condemnation in that redevelopment resolution, okay? Now, the process. The process is, this company's gonna find whatever they find. The planning board's going to go through its process, which may or may not include hearings, I'm not expert on that. Then it's going to come back here, and then this board is going to determine whether or not it agrees or disagrees with whatever everybody else did, and decide if they want to go ahead with redevelopment. If they want to go ahead with redevelopment, then this body has a choice to essentially negotiate or have someone else negotiate on their behalf with what they would like to see on that property, which may or may not be what the developer is proposing, okay? In the event that, for whatever million reasons, this council, I'll make it simple, negotiates with that developer and they come up with whatever they decide to be mutually acceptable, if it works with the developer and it works for the town, then at that point in time, the town approves the plan, and we're hoping, as I've said on more than one occasion, that the private marketplace is successful and there is an agreement between the two. If it's not, and now we get to the end of the road where we can raise the issue of eminent domain or condemnation, whatever your choice.
Which you've
And
already
then,
done.
pardon me?
Which you've already done, but go ahead.
No, I know,
No, we
that's,
haven't.
yeah, I just think I think I used a lot, but we haven't. See, and that's the point you keep missing, we haven't. When we know what is being proposed, and when we know that is what makes sense for the town or not, based upon the elected people ultimately that are to my left and to my right, then if the private marketplace has not been able to come to an agreement, then this body decides whether or not to institute condemnation or eminent domain. It hasn't already. It includes it as an option. As I've said on multiple occasions, we're hoping the private marketplace does sort this out. But at the end of the day, no condemnation is contemplated until we have what is an approved plan by the body, and if the marketplace has failed, and then there's a balance of interest. And we always have this balance of interest. It's the interest of the individual versus the interest of the general public. No one's going to know what that balance is until we have a specific proposal in front of us. Right now, we have what their thoughts are, and that's fine, they can be their thoughts. But the way the process works is as I described. And if and only if we get to that, then is there a matter of whether to condemn or not condemn. And at that point in time, we have far more information as to what is the balance between the private interest and the public interest. Fair enough?
Explained well, I'm quite aware of the process.
Except that you
But don't
keep
be swayed-
misstating the
Don't be swayed
process.
by $720,000 that the town's gonna get in money, that's gonna come to their coffers they wouldn't have had before. That shouldn't be an issue for them either.
And that is speculative, because what is
I
really,
didn't come up with the number, Chuck.
what is I know, he did, but I can make it very clear, as I tried to, is that there was negotiations between the town and the developer.
Okay.
Okay, there's a lot going on in speculation, and I've heard you say on more than one occasion that we're going to condemn your property, and I keep trying to say that that's not the case.
I hope you don't.
I hope I don't
I
either.
hope you don't. I hope you don't. I think it's the wrong approach to take.
I'm with
But
you.
that's me.
I have different responsibilities than you.
I understand.
And so does this
Chuck.
council.
You know, you're responsible to all the people living in town.
Correct.
Maybe not just me,
That's correct.
but what happens if you take a look at a development that goes up like that for 300 units?
But John,
That's.
you're making a
It's an
supposition.
assumption that I didn't make. The contractor's the one who came up here, Chuck, and he's the one who made it, he said 300. I didn't come up with that number. I would have been happy with an
But-
original plan, which was a lot less than that.
But as I said, it's speculative by virtue of the fact that I went through the process, and after
I
this.
don't want to bore anyone any.
Well, no, it's just that
I
you
know
keep
exactly.
coming back with the same thing, saying we're condemning, and John, the fact of the matter is, that's speculative. Thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Next.